Chosen trigger. She played games, so I rewrote the rules. 1. Setup. I was a hopeful, hardworking man who believed in simple and honest things, a steady job, a steady hand, and a steady circle of people I could trust. I woke early, brewed coffee that tasted like courage, and walked a straight line through the day, trying to do the right thing for the people who mattered most. People I treated like brothers and sisters. My wife, Lena, was by my side from the start, not just as a partner in bed, but as a partner in life. And we built a small company in a tiny office with the glow of a whiteboard and the scent of fresh paint. My brother Max stood behind us, a quiet man with rugged hands and a mind that could spot a flaw in a plan before the plan even existed. Our mentor Mr. Hale, who wore a bow tie like a shield, told us to take the long road, to study the market, to listen more than we spoke, to keep promises as if they were sacred. I trusted them with the entirety of my hopes, because hope is a serious thing when it rests on the shoulders of people you choose to walk with. I believed in loyalty the way a man believes in gravity, a force you feel every day and never quite see. The house we bought together felt like a symbol of that trust, a place where we could raise a family and build something that would outlast our stubborn flaws. In my mind, we were a crew, and I was the captain who would not let fear steer us off course. The night Lena asked me to sign the partnership papers, I felt a warmth like a sunrise inside my chest. I did not doubt her. Not then, not when she spoke of long nights and shared desks and shared dreams. I believed in her as I believed myself, and I believed in the future we would craft together. A future where honesty would be the backbone of every deal and every decision. The days rolled into weeks and the weeks into months, and I watched our little world grow with the careful patience of someone who knows the rules of weather. I listened to her ideas with a careful ear. I offered my own cautions without anger. I kept our books clean, I kept my promises, and I kept the faith that this was possible. The trust I felt was not loud or flashy. It was a soft pledge, a quiet vow that we would weather storms as a unit, no matter what the market did or what rivals whispered in the hallways. We celebrated small wins with simple dinners, and we soothed the pressure of late nights with the laughter of our team, of Max cracking a joke even when the numbers looked grim. I did not chase attention. I chased stability, the kind that gives a family a sense of safety and a business a chance to breathe. The years taught me that real strength hides in restraint, that a man who keeps his word keeps a kind of armor around his heart. Lena was beautiful in a way that felt earned, like she had climbed a difficult hill and learned how to breathe again at the top. I admired her, yes, but I also trusted her with parts of me that I had never shown to another human being. 2. Inciting incident. Then it happened in a way that felt both sudden and inevitable, as if the universe had been waiting for the moment I believed most in our harmony. Lena began to play games with the truth. Games as old as power and as cold as winter glass. It started with a rumor, a whisper that trickled through the hallways like a chill. And I dismissed it at first because rumors prey on fear, and fear makes us see things that are not there. But the more I listened, the more I saw a pattern. The way she would smile when I spoke, and then turn and seal a deal with someone else, while pretending there was no deal at all. The way she would praise a collaborator one day, and quietly undermine them the next. The way she would present herself as the problem solver, the one who kept us from making mistakes, while quietly steering our company toward an arrangement she would control completely. It grew into something sharper and more personal when a key investor, an old mentor who had once stood on the edge of our table with a watchful eye, came to me with a document that looked official, a signed agreement that gave Lena controlling interest and left me with a minor stake I would never be able to redeem. He admitted he had been pressured, coaxed by Lena's team into believing this move would save us, and he confessed that he had misused his authority to push me aside, to force me to bow and watch from the wings as the life we had built slipped away. It did not end there. Lena began to twist the truth in front of our own staff, turning the quiet loyalty we had earned into a public question about my competence. She invited a television crew to a press conference and framed the moment as a tough but necessary pivot for our company. She spoke of market realities and a necessary evolution, and she spoke with a siren's sweetness that masked a blade. In that same breath, she told our team that I had made costly mistakes, that my stubborn insistence on old-fashioned values had held us back, and she painted herself as the only one who could save us from ruin. The room listened, breath held, eyes wide, and I felt the weight of every year of work, every sacrifice, every late night, flash into a single moment of pure exposure. It was a public humiliation without punches thrown, a slow turning of the key that opened the dungeon door I had never believed would be open to me. I walked out of that conference with the world watching, and the words that followed on the street and on the screen felt like a verdict I had not earned but deserved, a judgment I could not refute because the evidence was there, not in deceit, but in the way my confidence dissolved into thin air, the way my marriage dissolved into argument, the way the friends I trusted dissolved into enemies who wore smiles, just like Lena wore hers. She had played the games, and I stood there, a fool wearing truth like a cloak, while she rewove the map of our life to show a path that led to her throne and my defeat. 3. Rising action. In the days that followed, I walked through our old halls with the lights too bright and the carpet too soft, feeling every inch of the once familiar space become a trap. My mind did not rest. It described each betrayal in color and heat. I could still smell the coffee we used to drink, the way Lena used to lean in to listen, the way Max would drink from his own mug and silently offer a plan in code, the way Hale would clear his throat and remind us about the value of patience. The betrayal was not just a strike against me, but against the idea that a man could grow something real with a person who swore to stand by him. I began to study what she had done, not with vengeance in mind alone, but with a precise, cold curiosity. I learned the numbers behind the lies she had whispered into the ears of our investors, the way she shifted the blame onto others to keep herself clean in the eyes of the world. I watched the way she manipulated the media, how she wore her charm like armor as she sliced away our reputation. I went home with a head full of plans, then wrote them in a notebook that smelled faintly of ink and rain. I built a new map in my mind, a plan that would reveal the truth in a way people could not ignore. I spoke to a few loyal souls, Max being one of them, who had not yet moved with the herd, men who believed the truth would outlive the theater of the moment. We found a way to collect the facts people needed, not to destroy Lena, but to show the world the real story of what she did to us. I started to work in the shadows, a patient gardener tending to a plot that needed time to grow. I did not show this to the staff or to Lena. I kept my progress quiet, because revenge that shouts is not revenge but noise. I studied the markets, I studied the laws, I studied the ways a person can bend a system without breaking it, and I learned to recognize the thin line between cunning and cruelty. I practiced what I would say in a room full of witnesses, rehearsing the tempo of truth, so that when the moment came, my words would fall like clear rain, unavoidable and cleansing. The air in my lungs grew sharper as I carried the weight of every little lie she told, and every time she smiled, I reminded myself that the smile did not belong to her only, but to a plan that took my life and turned it into a version of hers. The more I prepared, the more I realized a simple truth. Revenge without a purpose is a mirror that mocks you. I chose revenge with a purpose, not to ruin Lena, not to crush her beneath the heel, but to pull back the curtain and lift the veil from a truth that deserved to be seen, to rebuild what could be rebuilt not through anger, but through the force of a better, more honest future. I found a way to partner with the investor who had grown a conscience, to bring new leadership into the company, to create a path where Lena would not control the narrative any longer, where the team could breathe again and the people who believed in us could see through the games to the real work that remained. It was not easy. The more I moved toward this plan, the more I listened to the small noises of doubt in my own mind, the whispers of old fears that told me I might not survive what was to come. But I moved anyway, like a man walking into a storm and choosing to stand tall in the rain rather than bend under the wind. I reshaped our story in the quiet corners of meetings no one watched, and I began to collect witnesses who would speak the truth when the time was right. I saw Lena begin to crack in the same way a tall tree cracks in a drought. Not with a single sudden break, but with many small fractures that time would reveal to the world. The scent of fresh paper in the mail, the feel of a hand on a legal pad, the cold weight of a document in my palm, the sensations of preparation sharpened into a blade I intended to wield with care. 4. Climax. The moment came during a scheduled industry conference that Lena herself had organized, a stage she believed would showcase our revival and my replacement. The room brimmed with cameras and soft applause, the lights washing our faces until they glowed with false warmth. Lena spoke first, a practiced symphony of confidence and kindness, while I stood nearby with only a glass of water and a calm, unflinching gaze. Then the crowd quieted, and I stepped forward, not with rage, but with the exact measure of quiet certainty that truth requires. I pulled from the folder I had carried the carefully gathered documents that proved not only her manipulation of the investor, but the more delicate, dangerous pieces of her plan.